So I just wanted to share a couple moments from this last week that were kind of profound. So the first one being the audition for the play Cambodian Rock Band. So, I really studied hard for it, and I think I did good. We'll wait and see if anything happens from it, but my intention going into it was just to treat it as if I already had the part and I was just rehearsing just for the sake of learning it, because I need to learn it anyways if I'm getting the part. So instead of trying to approach it like I'm trying to get the part, I just envision myself already having it and then acting accordingly. And this concept is kind of something that I've adopted from a Joe Dispenza book. I forgot the title of it. Gosh, and I don't actually own it. But anywho, the part of the technique is to really visualize whatever it is you're trying to be or accomplish in your own life, and to imagine yourself if already in that position, if that makes sense. So for me, it was like, okay, I have to envision myself as if I already have the part, and then how am I gonna do my lines? How am I gonna act? How am I gonna play and sing? So anywho, that was kind of a philosophy point melded into my own experience. So, I was just grateful to get in front of the panel of there was like 5 people and just to perform. And I was treating that as the reward, just having an audience and getting to play music. So, I had a good time, and I think that's all I can ask for. I kind of already look at it I'm already looking at it from the perspective that I've won, and that's made me feel really content, and I'm not thinking about it a whole lot, and I'm just moving forward and working on other things. I will say there was a couple details from the audition that were kind of nice. So, I started with the song. So I had rehearsed they asked me to pick a song from a list that they had, and the song I chose was Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane. And so I knew this was going to be a good one for me because I could really showcase my rock singing voice, which is kind of what they were looking for. So I was able to do that. I kind of rearranged the song so I could show off some of my guitar skills within the first minute. It was pretty awesome. And right after that, it seemed like they were pretty impressed with that. And then the director asked me if I know how to play the drums, because they also had a drum kit in the room. And I said, yeah, I can hold a couple beats. I'm like, you want me to show you now? And he's like, yeah. And so I just, I didn't know that was going to happen, but, I rose to the occasion. And so, it was good. It was fun. And then after the musical performance, then there was 2 scenes. So I had to memorize. Basically, it was one scene was 3 pages long. The other scene was 8 pages long. This was a unique thing for me. I've never really done acting since I don't know, drama class in middle school or something. So memorizing lines and stuff like that was different. It was I memorized a lot of lyrics for music, but this was different. And it was, I think the biggest lesson I learned from that was to not really think about your lines as much as just to really understand the script and the actual dialogue. And so when I was rehearsing the lines with the person that was doing it, I just just really focus on what they're saying and really listen to them, and that ends up being the prompt for me to remember the line. Anywho, going on a tangent here, but the audition was a good experience nonetheless, and I'm happy that I even did this. the second event that I wanted to talk about was really neat. I ended up meeting a musician named Jacob Collier, and if you don't know who that is, you need to look him up. His last name is spelled Collier, and he's basically like kind of a musical wizard. Like in terms of like the modern day, of in terms of like what musicians are in the limelight that are kind of just from another planet. This guy is like is something else, and he's very inspiring. He's anywho. Why do I know who he is? 'Cause I just found some of his YouTube videos a few years ago, and then I found out he was being mentored by Quincy Jones, who is like one of the most renowned music producers of all time. He worked with Sinatra. He worked with Michael Jackson. Was probably like he produced all of like Michael Jackson's biggest records. So this is like who this guy is hanging out with. And anyways, just a phenomenal artist. Why am I bringing this up? Well, I kind of already spoiled it. I ended up meeting him, but I'll explain the story behind how that came to be. So it happened during a busking session. So it was the second busking session of the day. The earlier busking session, I had a very successful performance. It felt good. I got a lot of energy out. I was able to move some people, made a little bit of money, enough for my food and to, contribute towards other expenses. And I was like, you know what, that's pretty good. But my soul wants to give more. So I went to my favorite busking spot and then started playing. And it was good. It was a sunny day, so there's good vibes all around, and an audience started forming. It was good, and people were attentive, and that's all I could ask for as a musician. And so towards maybe an hour in, I was playing "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey. I was playing, and then I was just scanning. I'm always scanning, looking at the audience, and just seeing what's going on, taking in the sights. And I see this guy walking towards me, and it's Jacob Collier, and I know who he is, right? So immediately I knew who it was, but it was so random that it really kind of made me starstruck, actually. And he's like walking starts walking towards me, and I'm singing the song, and I have an audience and stuff, so I'm like, okay, I know who this guy is, and I'm pretty sure my face was like this. While I was singing, because again, I really respect this guy. I'm singing the song. He comes up to me. He puts his hands together like this, and he said, "You sound amazing." And then he just like sauntered off. And I didn't stop because, the show must go on. I had an audience. I was like midway through the song. Part of me wanted to stop the song and just try to like have a conversation with this guy, obviously, because about music. But anyways, I just knew what my duty was in that moment, and I just kept going, and I played the song. After that happened, it was almost like it felt like I'd been in like my fight or flight system was in full gear, because I couldn't believe that happened. And so what's the meaning of this? Well, I believe the universe intertwines this whole reality that we're in. And when you surrender and you let go, when you're really following your heart, in whatever way that is, you're guided to experiences that you're meant to experience. It's hard to put this into really concise words, so I'm working on it. But I'm at this point in my journey now where I'm really understanding that I only need to believe in myself, and like I only need, like that's all I need. Like I just, I don't need the validation from anyone. But I'm human, and that's part of being a performer. There's some degree of like you're whatever, you're chasing applause, or you're chasing validation and acceptance. Now, I haven't had this happen quite like this. I actually have met quite a few, amazing musicians over the past few years. But I guess there was something that was so real about this experience that I haven't been able, like I've been thinking about every day and reflecting on it and just really digesting it, because if I'm at all, trying to, just live my journey as a musician, of course I want to be accepted by whoever hears me, right? And to have an individual like that just say what he said, and just with the honesty that I could feel in the tone of voice and words, but I know his world of music, so it was like this weird moment of like, okay, well, if that guy if he's happy with what his ears are telling him, and he's a very, very, very gifted musician, then I must be doing okay. And it's interesting because growth never ends. We're constantly growing, we're constantly striving to evolve and whatnot. And I guess, I don't know, this was just another reminder of that, like I'm on the right track. And I'm very grateful because, I was only in that spot at that moment because of, everything that I'm doing, and all my decisions for that day just led me to that point. And so, and I guess it's interesting because just from as a creative mind, I know a plethora of musicians that are connected to this individual, like not personally, I just who is in this guy's circle. And so if I have the approval of this fellow, basically it's saying to me that, any musician really that this person's around would be accepting of me. And I know it's pretty egotistical as I'm saying this, but again, it comes back to just being a performer. And, at the end of the day, you do want to be accepted. And it's odd, this performance thing, especially as a musician, because I'm truly myself when I'm giving my all to music and expressing myself through that. But just the nature of what this world is, it means I have to be a performer. But, I guess, I'm just trying to find this balance of where I'm just trying to be myself. And then, that's it. And not actually trying to perform. I'm just doing what my soul has been sent here to do. Anyways, that was a long-winded answer. I'm getting mindful of the time here because I can see the timer on the flip screen here at 16 minutes. So, yeah, I'm very stoked about that. That's the second experience I wanted to share. And the last experience I wanted to share was just about a musician that I met while, I guess a lot of things happened while busking. So I was busking. This is a week after I'd met Jacob. And so I was singing a song, and this woman came up to me. She was in her 60s, I think. And she said, wow, like, you have a really great singing voice. I can hear the subtleties that you're able to control. And, I watch The Voice. And so, like, I listen to a lot of singers, and, like, your singing voice is really special. And, you should, and she's like, trust me, I used to be a musician. And then that kind of perked my interest. I said, like, what do you mean you used to be a musician? And then she started getting kind of emotional. She said, well, I ended up losing some of my hearing in one of my ears. And ever since that happened to me, like I've kind of stopped believing in my ability to do it, to play music. And in that moment, I just felt this surge of energy rush through me, and I knew I had to share my story with this woman. And right away, I just said, stop. You still can play music. We have to change how you're thinking about it. That's not stopping you from playing music. And then so I started sharing about my story with my own hearing loss and how that has become my greatest strength as a musician. It's honestly a big reason why I'm even talking to this camera today and continuing the journey every day, because of, the fact that happened to me spontaneously as well. And so in that moment when I could feel the energy, that she was getting so much joy from enjoying my music, but then I could feel her energy of longing to do it still. And so I knew in that moment I had to help her. And so I said what I said, and she totally broke down. She started crying, and she was very thankful that I shared my story and I shared my words. And so that's just another thing I wanted to share. And I've been practicing reflection almost daily now, just to about the journey and of any, experience that I had throughout the day that might have been kind of profound. And it's really teaching me that, these small victories that I'm having while following my dream and living my dream, doing what's on the most honest to my soul, I'm having an impact. And and I'm happy to just reflect and share that in this moment, because it's just, I guess it speaks to the power of just people being able to help each other. I've never met this person, but I hope I help change their life, and I hope they start playing music again. And then kind of one last thing I wanted to share. So today I was trying something new. So I've been learning some pop songs. It's been a while since I've learned some pop songs, but I just wanted to learn a pop song. And so I was learning Ed Sheeran's smash hit, Shape of You, from 2016. And I don't quite know it that well. And so normally I have to feel okay, I really got the song in my grasp before I perform it. And so this evening when I was performing at English Bay, it was a sunny day and there was a lot of people out. So I had quite a large audience, but okay, we're going to continue that next time. Or actually, you can still hear me. So I'm going to keep going even though the video ran out. So this is funny. So there was a lot of people in the audience. But the thing with busking typically is, people are just walking by. So no one really gives a shit. But, when they're at the beach, there actually is an audience. And so I was going through most of my set. Things were going good. And then I was like, you know what? I'm having this intuition that's wanting to challenge myself and play a song that I don't really have that well. And so I was like, I don't know. And I played a couple songs. I kept thinking about it. I was like, okay, I got to play it. I got to try. So I just started playing it. And because I thought to myself, what's the worst that could happen? Would I just mess up a few times? And oh my goodness, I butchered the song so badly. I made it through though. I made it through to the other side, and funny enough, someone did come up and they tipped me still, and it was kind of funny. But it was It was a nice challenge for me because again, I pushed myself to perform in front of a large audience with a piece of music that I was not that familiar with, and I just knew I was going to try my best. because I wanted to play the song. I knew the vibe would be good if I could nail it. But I totally I just like stumbled on my words at least 4 or 5 times. Like I was like crawling to make it through this thing. But anyways, I feel great that I tried that, and I feel good about it, and I feel good about sharing it in this moment. Thank you to anybody who is listening to this and supporting my journey. I really am just trying to live this journey one day at a time and just give it my all every day. And, you know, I'm setting intention right now to, you know, share more about my story with the hearing loss and how that ties into, you know, music for me, and why that's driving me to the degree that it is. So I'm setting that intention because I want to open up more and share that story with the world. Until next time, think positively, be well, be at peace. Know that this life is just a ride, and you know the most important thing is that you have peace in mind. So yeah. Till next time.